Where I'm going to start today's episode with is a story. A story that hits home every single time I think about it, and I think it's perfect for the situation that we're in. I had a teammate in college. Now, for people that don't understand a team dynamic, don't understand the mind of an athlete, don't understand the mind of just a team in general, the saying, I will die on the court, I will die on the field, that's something that is almost ingrained in athletes. For some athletes, whatever sport they play is their escape. For some athletes, whatever sport they play is their ticket out of the situation that they may be in, they may have grew up in, that their family in. Sports means something to everyone that plays it. And I had a teammate. For people that obviously know, I played college basketball, and he was a phenomenal basketball player. He was all state in his, he was from Louisiana, all state. He was a high recruit. And it turns out he had the same thing that Chris Bosh had. Like, he had an enlarged heart. And obviously he had the mindset of, it is what it is, I still want to play. He was playing for something bigger, obviously. And obviously when he came to the school, we didn't know until I think he had real bad chest pains during practice one time, and so bad that he had to stop. And that's when obviously we found out. And there was not a thought in his mind that he would stop playing. There was not a thought in his mind that this injury, this condition that he has, was going to stop him from playing. And my coach said something that was so profound. Now, at the time, you don't want to hear it. At the time, you're still processing things. Your mind is still going 100 miles a minute, and you're still ride or die for the team. You still are playing for something bigger. You still are trying to go to war, or proverbial war, with the crew, with the boys, with the team that you rode with. We were a very close-knit team. And my coach said, you're thinking about 15 minutes. I'm thinking about 15 years. And I could never really understand it, because in an athlete's mind, it's like, bro, you recruited me to come here to win. We practice, we run, we do two-a-days, we do individuals, we do lifts, all of this together. The end goal is to win. So how is it that now you're telling me that the goal has changed? You see, it took someone a little more mature. It took someone a little more seasoned, I guess you could say, to have the proper hindsight of the situation. You see, my teammate would have for sure done anything to play. My teammate would have risked his life to play. And I know I would have done it. I know almost every single person that I've ever played with, every single person that that I've been on a team with, would share a similar idea of, I'm in it and I want to play. But it takes somebody outside to be like, yo, hold on, bro. You could die, literally die on this court. You could literally die on the field. I know it's hard to think about the future, especially when you're in it now. And especially when your future, you thought your future was dictated on the now. No, I have to save you from yourself. Long story less long, my teammate never played again. I don't know if he played, once we graduated, but he never played. Coach made him a coach, and he never played. He could not, obviously it was shocking to all of us, but he said, my job is to think about your next 15 years because you're unable to, which is why you're thinking about the next 15 minutes. I started that story off because for people that watch Thursday Night Football, you saw Tua get hurt again. Another concussion. I think this is like his fourth or fifth concussion in the last 2 to 3 years. I have no right. I have no saying in anybody that wants to pursue their dream, and ultimately, I can't be the one to tell anybody that I don't know what to do with their life, what to do with their career. I have no say in this. And I should have no say in this because I don't know Tua. I don't know anyone in the Dolphins organization. I don't know anybody in the Tagovailoa family. I'm just speaking as someone that has had someone close to me that was forced to stop. Not because he couldn't. Because, if you have an enlarged heart, you can still play. But you run the risk of any given moment, you be on the field, you be on the court, any given moment, it could be lights out. And obviously playing could enhance that moment. Concussions are a semi-new thing. Not saying that it hasn't always been here, but the focus on concussions, the future ramifications of concussions, the studies of concussions is sort of a new thing. And there's a word out there that is scary for most, still a little unknown, but still a very serious word, and that word is CTE. And we've seen mild cases of CTE. We've seen severe cases of CTE. One thing that we know is CTE is something extremely serious and can be life-altering once you're finished playing football, sometimes even while you're playing. A concussion is something that can be one concussion is something that can be life-changing. One concussion can have a huge effect on your day-to-day for the rest of your life. One concussion. That's how serious it can be. Now, I understand that, as a fan, as viewers, you look at football and you hear about concussions a lot. You've probably had a concussion before if you've played minor little league football, if you played some type of football, you probably had one. I just don't understand. I don't think you understand or people understand how lucky they are if it isn't a life-altering concussion, because there are some that is. Tua has had about 4 or 5 of them in the last 3 years. And each one looks worse than the other. I'm sure it was Tua's life goal to make it to the NFL. I'm sure Tua feels as healthy can be. And I can't tell someone when they should hang it up or not. Especially someone as young as Tua. But like my friend, Tua is always going to think of 15, always going to have a 15-minute mindset. That's just what athletes are. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's just what athletes are. You're thinking about the now. I'm sure for all my athletes, all my former players that are listening, think about this. You've been hurt before. And the first few, once the doctor, or if you've been hurt to a point where you have to go to the doctor, you have to get it checked up, and they tell you that you have to miss time. The first few thoughts in your head is, how long is it going to take for me to get back? Not, damn, I hope this heals right, or damn, this sucks. No, it's how long is it going to take for me to get back? Athletes, it's extremely difficult. And some athletes are not able to do it. And that is perfectly fine. But it's very difficult not to have a 15-minute mindset as an athlete because you're in it. Every single player pretty much has that. It takes someone outside the situation to be like, and someone that you trust. When my coach told my teammate, yo, you can't play, bro, they had a heat, like, he went off on my coach. The F you mean? Like, he was going crazy, like, on some Booby Miles type stuff. It took a conversation with his mom to be like, yo, his mom was like, yeah, your coach is right. As much as you hate it, as much as I sent you there to further your basketball career, because that's what you said you wanted to do, your coach is 100% right. I think it's going to take somebody extremely close to Tua to be like, yo, I think you should really reassess your life. Because trust and believe, Tua can keep getting back up from these concussions. But there will be a time when that debt is due. And it's very hard to envision a life after sports for a lot of athletes. Hell, I knew early that I was not about to be in the NBA. I was good enough to play overseas, maybe not maybe not for Real Madrid, but I was good enough to play overseas. But I knew good and goddamn well I'm not good enough to be in the NBA. Even in that, I didn't know what was next. I wasn't thinking about what was next. I was thinking about right now when I was in college. I was thinking, yo, I know I'm not going to, but we're trying to win a championship. Like I don't know I'm not thinking about what's next until what's next gets here. That's just what athletes do. A lot of them. Now, obviously there are some, but we're not talking about the some. We're talking about Tua Tagovailoa, who on Thursday suffered yet another concussion. It looked bad. He had the whole hand thing again. And it's scary. And you hear multiple people come out. Most athletes. I heard Ryan Clark. I heard Chris Canty. I heard Herm Edwards. I heard a bunch of people come out and say, yo, Tua really has to there's someone has to be closer to it to be like, yo, this might not be it, bro. Like, you've made a lot of money. You've made life-changing money. You still will probably make life-changing money due to endorsements and everything, but I never want to see someone go or be forced to leave something that they're not ready to leave. But life is a precious thing. I hope for people that see the landscape of the world and see the landscape of life right now, I hope that people understand just how precious life is. When you see how many people of prominence we have lost in the last week to week and a half, like that. I hope, and I understand that obviously people that are younger still don't really have a grasp of it, but I would hope that people understand just how precious life is. Because once it's gone, it's gone. At this point, your memories, bro. People, I remember when I saw it, and I had a conversation with a couple people, and I told them the angle that I was going to start this episode with. They were pretty much telling me that which is ironic because they're former athletes, former teammates, but they were like, "Yo, you're right, but you're kind of dragging it, you know. Tua's not going to die tomorrow. Tua's not going to, Tua can still walk. You see, he walked off. Tua's going to be fine." And that just proved to me that, and once an athlete, always an athlete. Not saying, if you had a 40-inch vert, you're going to have that at 50 now. But what I'm saying is sometimes an athlete's mind never changes, and that's okay. I want the best for Tua Tagovailoa. And I'm sure there are people around him that also want the best for him. But one thing I do know is that pretty much 4 or 5 concussions in the last 3 years is not it. And I hope that there is somebody that's close to Tua that has that 15-year mindset, because I know Tua, and I don't know Tua but I know Tua because I know how an athlete thinks. I know how a person that is in it thinks. I broke my ankle one time, and I probably did irreparable damage because I was like, I would take my boot off months before I was supposed to just to get some shots up. I was running in a boot, or jogging in a boot. I probably did some irreparable damage. But again, I was thinking about 15 minutes. I hope there's somebody closer to that Tua trusts enough to listen to understand that this 15-minute mindset can drastically affect the next 15, 20, 25 years of your life. And I hope that you choose wisely. I hope that he chooses wisely. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.